Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance. I am your host, Bobby Sampson, and I am joined with the man with the master plan, Mr. Chance Michaels. Chance, here we are, Thursday Eve, Friday Eve, I guess you could call it. Sorry. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Can't complain, man. Staying nice and warm. It's really cold now. I mean, I guess we're getting our 2 weeks of winter in Vancouver.
Yeah, we got a lot of ice out here. What about out there?
Yeah, we got ice, just kind of remnants of the snow and whatnot, but I mean, it's mainly inside roads and what have you. Main roads are all fine, so there's no excuses for anybody.
Yeah, it's that time of year, man.
Yeah, yeah. Here we go. But let's get this thing going on like Donkey Kong, as Tyson Fury would say. Here we are, 2 days out from Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora 3. Last time these two guys tangled was in 2014. And I guess it's safe to assume that Tyson won that fight too, since he's still undefeated. Um, this is a fun fight, I think. I mean, the talk, the build-up, and everything going into this fight has been really, really fun. A lot of mad respect between the two guys.
They do, yeah.
I don't know if you caught the last press conference they had
I did. I
before the
watched it
fight.
today, yeah.
Yeah, I was just watching that, and Derek was saying, like, Aram didn't want him to fight him. Who's Tyson's promoter? What's his name?
Bob Arum?
No, not Bob Arum, the other guy, the English guy. What's his name? Oh God, I was Frank Warren.
Well, Frank Warren, yeah.
Yeah, Frank Warren wasn't really keen on this fight. And then you have his own promoter, Eddie Hearns, who wasn't anywhere around here this whole week. Because he's busy with the other trilogy of Chocolatito and Estrada, which we'll hit on shortly. Um, he just those kind of comments, like, even his own promoter didn't want him to take this fight. And for Tyson to call him up and say, hey, listen, let's do this. It's a good payday, and a lot of mad respect. But the one thing I think is going to be really interesting to see is if they're going to live up to their spit on the hand bet that they made. Are you familiar with it?
No, I didn't hear. What was that about?
Yeah, so a couple days ago, they kind of, Tyson's doing his interview, and because these guys are so chummy, one can just walk into the other's interview right now, right? And Derek says, I'm like, listen, here's what I want to do. I want to meet in the middle of the ring on the first round and just throw. Let's give the fans everything we got,
Wow.
right? And they both spit in their hands. They shook on it. I don't know if Tyson's going to follow through with it or not, but Derek was making comments about it in the press conference, saying that, this is what they're going to do. If Tyson's a man of his word, they're going to come out and fucking throw, man, just throw. I don't know if that's going to be beneficial for Tyson to do. I don't see that being realistic for him to do, but let's see.
That's cool. I don't know. They might do it. These guys are a little bit crazy. They're action-packed fighters, so they might just follow through with it.
Well, Chisora, if you followed his career, if you watch his fights, and if you haven't, fans, get back, watch some of his fights, and tell me if I'm right or wrong. You tell me if I'm right or wrong. Chisora is a tenacious type of fighter, man. He only knows how to fight one way. He just fucking comes forward.
Oh yeah, he's coming
Right?
right at you.
Right. He's constantly coming at you. He's always going to just kind of, offense first, defense second. And I think this is why his career is shortened as much as it is. He could have had a lot more fights in the future, but just because of that style and the way he does it, that's going to make it really hard, for him. At 38 years old as well, he's near the end of the career, so this could be his final fight. But that being said, Derek deserves that kind of guy. If he could fight 12 times a year, he'd fight 12 times a year.
Oh yeah. If he wins, he'll fight again, win, lose, or draw.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think the keys for him, though, is not to get leaned on. If that starts to happen, I mean, he has to time himself. When Tyson comes in to kind of lean on him, that's when he has to be able to throw an uppercut or something to kind of, combat against that. I think truly that's the only chance he truly has, is to kind of go balls out and hope for the best on this one. Tyson, on the other hand, he's kind of going to do what Tyson Fury does. You know what I mean?
Oh
He's
yeah.
going to lean on you.
Use his height, use his strength,
his strength and power and whatnot. Tyson, like I said, he needs to avoid being clinched, and he needs to avoid. He just needs to avoid being clinched. Honestly, I think that's going to be the thing that's going to wear him down the most. And just once he's gotten worn down, Tyson's going to come with that short uppercut again, I think, and that's how he's probably going to end this one. Prediction: Tyson Fury wins, I think. But that being said, you know what? We're talking heavyweights, and anything can always happen in
Anything can
heavyweights,
happen.
right? Tyson has been down on the mat. It'd be a different story if Tyson's never been put down. He's been put down 6 times now, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, granted, all by the one guy, same guy. But if you look at the Otto Wallin fight that he had, he took some risks, he took some chances there as well. And, he almost lost that fight with that cut above his eye.
Yep. What's your prediction? How many rounds is Chisora going to last before he gets knocked out?
Well, I mean, if Chisora
Because
fights
this is not going to decision. Somebody's going down.
well, no, it's gonna someone's gonna go down and it'll probably be Derek Chisora. Unfortunately, I don't want to be so blatant with my prediction, but I would probably think that if Chisora fights the way Chisora fights, if Tyson fights the way he fights, we're probably looking at about 6 to 7 rounds here for it to finish.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Right.
I was looking at the
And
Vegas betting odds, so they have no respect for Chisora at all. He
well,
is a
I don't
9-1 underdog. Tyson
yeah,
Fury is a 20-1 favorite. So
yeah.
put down $20, folks, to win $1,
Well, I mean, let's look at the records.
which is
32.
fair.
Yeah. Well, both guys, are pretty much similar. Well, no, Derek's had a lot more fights than Tyson has. Tyson's coming into this fight 32-0-1, where Chisora's coming in at 33-12. 33-12, pretty much, man.
Yeah,
So
well,
I
Chisora's a
mean,
tough opponent. This is more of a action-packed tune-up fight for Fury, right? And the funny thing is, you hear what Usyk said?
yeah, Usyk's gonna be ringside. He said he's
Yeah, but
gonna
he
jump
already
in the
said to
ring.
him.
He said he's gonna jump in the ring after the fight.
He called him a drunk.
Yeah.
So Fury said, "I'm going to swat that little man. If he
Oh
comes to the
well,
ringside, I'm going to give him a swat."
yeah,
So
no, well, I mean,
it's
there's
funny. Good
definitely
hype.
the buildup is continuing here, and for Usyk to say those kind of things right now, and to be honest, man, the fight that we needed to see was Usyk. This is the fight that should have been happening,
Oh yeah, Usyk is just
right?
dodging him. He says he's hurt, but he's just buying some time.
Yeah, he's buying some time, but I mean, at the same time, you don't make the comments you make saying, I only want to fight Tyson Fury next. I only want him next, blah, blah, blah. Well, here he is. He's ready to fight you, and you fucking
And
walk
you
away.
don't fight him.
Yeah.
When Fury wins, he's going to call Usyk in the ring, and then to get in the ring and have a little stare down, a little smack talk, right? That's what I think why Usyk's there.
Well, no, 100%, right? So I think they're planting the seeds for that one probably February, March, I would say.
Probably something like that.
Something like that, get it done and over with, sort of a deal. So that's going to be an interesting thing as well. I think if Tyson wins all 4 belts, they'll probably get separated pretty quickly after that too, because I just don't see how the guy can defend all 4.
Yeah, I know he wants a piece of Joshua too.
Well, I mean, he wants to fight Joshua. I mean, you got the eliminator with Ruiz and Wilder. That was going to be for the WBC belt again.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
even
mean,
with that eliminator, Deontay Wilder's been saying, I want Joshua. I'll skip the Ruiz fight. Give me Joshua. Let's go.
But nobody wants to fight Ruiz because
Joshua just wants he's having another tune-up fight in. He's another couple fights before he fights these guys. Like,
yeah,
scared.
Well, again, it comes down to the 3-headed line. There's some fights there that just haven't happened yet, right? And the common denominator in both those fights seemed to be Joshua.
Yeah.
Right. The whole reason that Tyson got these fights in the first place with Deontay Wilder is because Joshua couldn't figure it out on his end. And this kind of leads me to believe that, Eddie Hearns, as much as I like Eddie Hearns and I like what he is, I mean, he's looking kind of shabby in this situation right now. When you're not even supporting your own man.
I know. He knows. Well, he knows what's going to happen. I guess he'd rather have Joshua have a few tune-up fights and get knocked on his butt, because Wilder and Fury will both knock him out. They're going to beat him bad. And I think he knows that deep down. Hearn can't say that, but he's trying to prolong it, the inevitable, maybe.
In a way, and taking nothing away from Anthony Joshua, the guy's accomplished.
No, he's a great fighter.
He's a great fighter. Yeah, he started late. Yeah, he doesn't have the amateur pedigree that most of these guys do. So from that perspective, I don't know how to say this without sounding, horrible about it, but he's a manufactured fighter.
Yeah. He's still a top 5 heavyweight, right?
Oh, he is, but I mean, every fight he had up until this last little batch they were all controlled fights. Like, they were hand-picked opponents. I mean, to be quite frank, when they signed up to fight Ruiz there, that was basically, thinking a gimme fight. There's no way this little Mexican guy is going to do anything to us. Right? They just call it what you want. Was it the bright lights? Was it this? Was it the fame? This guy's been under the bright lights forever. There's no excuse there. When you're fighting in Germany in front of 80,000 people against Vladimir Klitschko, Madison Square Garden should not scare you.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny that you say that because when Fury fought Klitschko, he went to Germany. When Fury fought Wilder the first time in the Staples Center, he came to America. So what's Joshua just like? I don't know. Just doesn't have that mental killer instinct like Fury and Wilder. I don't think, and even Usyk.
Well,
I don't know.
he's he's methodical. He's a thinking man. Joshua
Mm-hmm.
is. I think that's his downfall. I think he thinks too much about everything.
Could be.
Now he's looking for another trainer. Like who? Where does he go? I think the only guy he should probably work with is Sugar Hill.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think
No, fair enough.
in my opinion, I think he's probably the one guy that can get the best out of Joshua. And if Tyson is willing to allow Joshua into that camp sort of a deal, then I think that would probably be the best place for Anthony Joshua to go
He
when it
needs
comes.
something. I
He
mean, he
needs
just
something.
switched trainers for the last fight. Didn't make a difference at all.
Yeah, and I bet you Rob McCracken was sitting at home watching that fight thinking, shit, I could this is exactly what I would have done with him.
Yeah,
There
yeah. I
was
know. I
no
didn't get it.
there was no difference in his style or his technique outside of that ninth round. And that's the only round that, I personally think that he won for the
Mm-hmm.
most part. So it's just kind of like I don't know who's out there that would trade him. Guzan, Ryan
I
Garcia's
don't
training.
know. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. He just.
Who's Garcia's training?
I don't think it matters who's going to train him. I just think he's locked into this certain style, and it's hard to get him out of that. He's in his early 30s now. I don't think he can't teach an old dog new tricks. Sometimes that saying is relevant.
Well, I mean, he showed that he's able to learn, right? I mean, when he came back and fought Ruiz the second time, it was a very much different style of Anthony Joshua. He was more methodical. He was more thinking.
Mm-hmm.
He was, in a better place. He was more controlled in his actions. So I do believe he can still learn. I mean, it's just a question. I mean, look at Tyson Fury. He went to Sugar Hill and he's completely changed his style. Which is kind of scary because if you think about it, Tyson's gotten better
Tyson's gotten better as he got older. I know
as
he
he's
moves
gotten older,
better.
right? And
Character.
all of that is because of Sugar Hill.
Mm-hmm.
He's been able to take the size of this man, the power of this man, and translate it into something beautiful. Like when he knocked out Dillian White, it was such a short uppercut.
Oh yeah, boom.
Like I almost felt like one could argue looking at it, not knowing. I mean, as a casual fan watching this, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
and I am speaking to the man of the casual man, if the casual fan, you would almost have thought that it could have been thrown because that shot was so short,
Oh yeah.
you
Oh, it was
know.
good.
But it's just that power and knowing how to throw that power. I think of Bruce Lee when I think of those kind of shots. It's just the less kind of movement, but the power behind that little movement is so extreme. It's just something you learn or you have,
Yeah, and
right?
that's another thing. That's a good point. I think Fury's more willing to listen to the trainers and adapt more of a and change his style, where it doesn't seem like Joshua is really willing to.
Well, and that's arguable. I don't know for a fact. I can't say yay or nay
We're
to
just
that,
we're just
but
assuming when
yeah,
from what
yeah,
we see, but
100%. But yeah, Derek Chisora, I think it's going to be a fun fight. You know what?
it's going to be an awesome fight.
Yeah,
People, you guys need to watch it because these guys are going all out. This is not going to be Floyd Mayweather dancing around. These guys are coming straight at it.
well, let's see. Let's see. This is the bet they made,
Two
right?
freight trains.
Right. Let's see if they are like they said, right now we're friends, we're buddies, everything is beautiful. But once we get into that ring, we're not friends anymore. This is business, it's a
Oh
business
yeah,
deal.
they mean it.
At the end of the fight, we'll get together. Because I mean, both guys, Tyson's been taking a lot of flack for why are you fighting Chisora? Why are you fighting Chisora? And I agree with what he says because I think you've said this enough times yourself to me.
But I agree with that. He shouldn't be fighting Chisora. But the only thing is, Usyk and Joshua won't fight him. So what do they want him to do? Beat up Wilder again? What's he supposed to do? He's got
Well,
to keep
no,
active, right?
but it's not even that keeping active. There's other guys that he could fight. There's other guys in like the heavyweight division is deep. There's no
Yeah.
shortage of people to fight. His
I
take
think
is
he's also throwing his friend a bone. Hey, you know what? You want to make 7, 8 million, bro? Let me beat
no,
your ass and let's
he's
have a
throwing
fight.
him a bone. Absolutely, both admitted to it,
Yeah.
right? Chisora saying the man's putting food on my table for my children.
Mm-hmm.
No one else would. No one else wanted me to have this fight. Nobody wanted to give me the
And
opportunity.
he's doing it anyways.
He called himself and said, "Hey, you want to do it?" And he said, "Yes." So I mean, it's Tyson Fury who's putting the food on his table, not Bob Arum, not any of
No,
these other
Theory made this
promoters.
happen. Yeah.
Fury made this happen, and I agree with his logic. It's like you can fight. There's so many heavyweights that probably are more deserving. There are other heavyweights out
Yeah, there
there
is.
that probably have better records and could probably give him a bit more of a challenge. But the reality is, who are these guys? And nobody knows their name.
That's the thing. Nobody knows their name.
Right?
And look
People,
at that. Theory just called Chisora to let's fight, and they made it happen. That goes to show you that Joshua didn't want to fight Theory, because this could be Joshua on Saturday that could have had this fight. He didn't want it.
well, yeah, I mean, it was all scheduled to go, and either he wanted it or Eddie Hearns pulled the trigger on it.
One of the two.
I would think it's more of a Hearns thing because I mean he knew that if he loses this one, his meal ticket's completely gone.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you look at Hearns right now in Arizona with just right up Chocolatito's ass. We'll get to that one next, right? But he's finding his next gravy train. I mean, outside of Katie Taylor, who's he got? He had Joshua.
Pretty much it.
Right?
For top fighters that
For
bring a lot of
top
money.
fighters. Yeah. Absolutely, right? So I know he's protecting his investment.
I don't blame him. I see what he's doing from a business standpoint, right?
I get it. But he's got a couple more fights coming up here, and then let's see where they go, right? Like, I mean, if Joshua's going to be a serious fighter, he needs to fight at least 3 to 4 times next year.
Yeah, he's got to fight Theory. He's got to fight Wilder.
He's got to fight those guys too. Obviously, I get that, but before those 2 fights, he needs a tune-up fight. He needs to fight someone that he doesn't necessarily dominate, but he looks good against.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. We'll see what happens. I'm sure he'll be fighting soon.
We'll see what happens. So yeah, so do you agree with my prediction, or do you have something different, brother?
What round did you say again?
I say between 6 and 7.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I don't see it going more than 7, 8 rounds.
Yeah. All right, brother, here we come. I'm looking forward to this fight. I don't know about you, but this is the second trilogy of the weekend that we have coming up here. Juan Francisco Estrada, 43, 28 KOs, 3 losses, 0 draws against Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. 51 wins, 41 KOs, and 3 losses. A trilogy match. Now, when I think of these 2 guys fighting, the last 2 fights were awesome.
They were good.
Phenomenal fights. In terms of trilogies and stuff like that, this is the kind of fight that I start looking at. I'm thinking of Mickey Ward and
Gotti.
Gotti. I'm thinking of Fraser and Ali. I'm thinking of those kind of trilogies where this is going to be, what was another one? Rafael Marquez against Israel Vasquez.
Pacquiao Marquez, Pacquiao Bradley.
Right? All these kind of things are going to be really
Ali Frazier.
Absolutely. So this is the way I'm kind of looking at it. This is that type of fight. And there's no shortage for these guys, man. They both throw punches and bunches, but they control their aggression. So
what's your prediction for this one? I'm just checking the betting odds right now. It's pretty much an even fight.
Yeah.
I mean, they got Roman Gonzalez is 2-1 favorite.
Well, I think it's too close to call, to be fair. I mean, just based on what these guys have done, their previous fights leading up into this fight, whatnot. It's hard to call, man. I don't know how to make a prediction on this one. I'm gonna probably go with my heart, and I'm gonna go with Chocolatito just because I like him so much.
Are you gonna go with him, eh? Going against the Vegas boys?
I think I'm gonna go against the Vegas boys. I'm gonna go with my heart on this one, and I'm probably gonna go with Chocolatito. I just think it's I don't think it's gonna be a knockout. I think it's gonna be a decision.
This is gonna go decision, yeah. It's probably a split decision.
A split decision, possibly, but I think Chocolatito wins by decision on this one. You?
I'm with you on that. Yeah, I see decision happening. I mean, anything could happen. If I put my money down, that's what it would be, decision. Split.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's going to be much change to Chocolatito's approach. I think he's going to be. His approach. His isolation is his key to victory. He's just going to try to isolate him, and just kind of work that jab and try to get inside of him in that way, and just kind of work him from that perspective.
It's going to be a fun day on Saturday. We got the Fury fight. We got this fight. I mean, it's an action-packed day of boxing. So it's been a while.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how would you describe Gonzalez's technique or style? What would you call it?
I don't know. He's methodical. He's patient. He knows when to strike. He's got good footwork.
He's energy. I think his energy is slowly progressing, sort of a deal. Like he doesn't start fast, obviously. I don't think he's as fast.
No, he's very methodical with that. He knows how to savor his energy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think the first 2 rounds of this fight are going to be the telltale on what kind of fight we're going to get. If it's slow and methodical, then you know what, sit back, grab your popcorn and enjoy a good technical fight. I think this is what it's going to come down to. This is not, and I don't mean this in any disrespect, this is not for the casual fan,
No, this is a yeah, no.
but I'm really excited for this fight. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see this one live. I don't want to see it on tape delay or anything. So, this is going to be a fun night of boxing, man. We have some.
Well, it's nice because you get the Fury fight about afternoon time here, and then this fight at night. So
Yeah, so basically the Fury fight will be taking place at 11 p.m. Eastern. I mean, the card started at 11 p.m.
11 a.m.
Eastern.
Eastern.
11, no, 11, sorry, 11 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah,
No, pardon me, 1 p.m. Eastern,
1 p.m. Okay,
11 a.m. Pacific here on the West Coast.
okay,
That's when the card will start, but that means those guys will probably come out at 1 and 3 respectively.
something like that. Yeah,
Right. And then you got this, the other fight will be on DAZN, and that will probably start at about 6 o'clock in the
that's not a
evening.
pay-per-view. That's just on the regular feed.
Yeah, no, 100%. Now, what do you make of what fight did they have recently on DAZN that was pay-per-view?
It was the Canelo Triple G one. I think it was the last pay-per-view one they had.
No,
in September.
there was another one there after that. I went
Was
to
there
go,
on the DAZN pay-per-view?
yeah, I went back to go watch it or something. I can't remember what the fight was, but I went back to watch it because I couldn't see it. I didn't watch it. And it was his pay-per-view. What the hell? Who was that fight?
I'm not sure. I don't remember that. I
Okay,
might have been
well,
at work and streaming it, but usually if it's on DAZN because I just watch on my app. But
yeah.
I know for sure Canelo Triple G because I bought that one.
Yeah. So
But
Bob Arum's blasting Eddie Hearns over his comments over this fight won't do well on pay-per-view and
I've
whatnot.
seen
So
that.
what do you make of that?
I like it. It's just Bob, sticking up for his fighter, Fury, big, most popular heavyweight in the world. I think it's not going to be a huge pay per view just because people are so down on Chisora, right? I think it's going to be a more exciting fight than people are saying, but a couple 100,000 buys probably,
Yeah.
300,000-400,000.
Well, I mean, okay, think about it. We're not really looking at, it's free here in North America. We're not paying for anything here.
The Fury fight's free here.
Yeah, obviously. Oh, I mean, it's on ESPN Plus. So I
Okay,
don't,
so that will hurt their numbers as far as pay per view buys go.
which makes me wonder, is it going to be free here in Vancouver or do we have to buy it on pay-per-view? Because I know it's pay-per-view, BT box office in the UK. So
Well, here we don't have ESPN Plus here, so you have to have that IPTV box. You're gonna have to order it.
yeah. I'm gonna read you some headlines here. Tell me what you think of them.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, Jamal Charlo. I want Dmitry Bivol next.
That'd be a good
Or-
fight. I seen that. Yeah, I like that.
That's one. Shakir Stevenson. I like this one on Javante Davis. He's too little. I could never lose to no midget.
That was funny. Heard that too.
Right, Javante Davis wants David Haney after Hector and Ryan Garcia. Adrian Bronner looking slow and fat, preparing for BLK Premier.
That guy just needs to go away, man. He just always is gonna fight it. He skipped his last fight. Like he's done.
Well, he's also talking more shit, man. He's like, what's he saying here? Adrian Bronner targeting Regis Progradius after February fight. Like,
Oh, is he? So he's saying?
yeah, that's what
He's still
saying,
a big
man.
name because he knows how to trash talk, right?
Support division champion, man. You can't take that away from him.
I when I went to that Pacquiao Broner fight at MGM, all of his homies and all of his friends are all in the casino with their Team Broner jackets on. They weren't friendly guys, you know what I mean? They're pushing patrons around, just being, grunt before the fight, just clowns.
Yeah, no, 100%. Um, I don't know, man. I think we're gearing up here. Like, I mean, December's
Starting
coming
to pick
to a
up.
close, and January. I'm looking forward to the new year. I mean, what do we have here? We have Tyson Fury against Usyk, right? We got that coming up. We got both Ryan Garcia, Wilder Ruiz, if he doesn't get Joshua.
Yeah.
I just don't see that fight ending well for Ruiz, man. I just don't
We
even know
got
why they're doing it.
Bibble will be fighting. Canelo's going to be back, so we got some big fights coming.
Well, let's see where Canelo is. I mean, right now Canelo is too busy fighting with Messi. I don't know.
Yeah, he apologized for that actually yesterday.
He apologized, but Messi needs to apologize as well.
I don't think he will.
But
He's kind of hasn't said anything yet.
No, I get it. But what Messi did wasn't right either.
No, I agree.
right?
But I mean,
And
Messi's 5'1". I mean, he's not Canelo's not very tall either, but he's 5'7", 150 pounds. You're a professional fighter, dude. Come on.
no, no. I'm not. It's not even that. I'm just more on the line of like, I get it. It's in the heat of the passion. I think a lot of it was tongue in cheek, and a lot of it is taken out of context.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, Canelo would walk in there, jab, jab, hook,
Oh, it'd be
uppercut,
over.
and be over in a second, right? What I don't like is Messi has been in the game long enough to know what respect and disrespect is, and you don't disrespect another team's jersey.
No, I agree. Yeah. I guess he's just so wrapped up in it. And oh, don't forget, next Saturday, I always forgot about this. We got Tefimo Lopez versus Martin.
Yes, yes, yes. So December's coming
And
to a
Terrence
close.
Crawford's fighting on that same night, too.
That's great for Terrence Crawford, fucking guy.
What
I
a
don't
cut.
know.
Tiafimo, though, this is a good fight to get him back in the game, right? To not fight for him.
Yeah, I know. It's his second fight now back, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
he did well in his first fight, a little rusty in my opinion. I think he could have handled himself better in that fight, but as he's
And
getting
also, looking at the card here in January, we got Better V versus Yarde. We got Charlo versus Tim Su. So there's some big fights. That's all in January 28th.
I know the Tim Tszyu
Chris
fight. I'm
Eubank
saying
versus Liam Smith. So
so Tim Tszyu's dad, if you ask people in Australia when you talk about boxing, like in Australia, boxing is still very considered, and this is only based on what I've heard from Australians that I've talked to. I was telling you about
yeah,
this
you
fellow.
mentioned this before. Yeah.
Yeah, and you think about it, it's just like boxing is a French sport, like Cambosos is the name and whatnot. But if you ask anybody, Tim Tszyu's dad apparently is the name in Australian boxing.
Yeah, he had so many good fights, fought like a warrior.
Yeah, yeah. So,
This is a big test for his kid, though, going up against the Charlo. So it's a big chance for him.
it's kind of funny because I don't think Charlo's fought since he's won the titles, right?
He
I mean,
hasn't. This is his first one.
right. So how does this work? Like, I want to understand this better. This guy's held all four titles. He
Mm-hmm.
won it, was it April or May?
Something
Something
like
like
that.
that, right?
Spring, yeah.
So May, June, July, August. Okay, I'll say after August, then you should be looking to defend again, right? If you got
We
all
think
four
so.
titles, you have all four titles. Like they were quick to fucking strip Taylor when he didn't fight,
Yeah, that's true. Little
right?
too quick.
Little too quick, but yet this guy hasn't had a fight in almost 6, 7 months.
That's the world of boxing for you. They say this is your mandatory, but then you can pay the guy off. So you don't have to fight your mandatory. You fight the superstar. It's all over the map the way they do it. It's
Yeah, no,
crazy.
for sure, for sure. Um, what else? What else do we have going here? Do you have anything that happened in today?
I do, yeah. Actually,
What happened?
this ties into what we've been talking about all show. Fury Wilder one happened today,
Yeah.
and Staples Center. That's the draw that they had when Fury went down twice. Even though Fury got knocked down twice, people still think he won the fight. It was close, but that was their draw. Staples Center 4 years ago today.
Yeah, no, you know what? I'm not on the fence on this one at all. I think that obviously the knockouts play a big role, but he controlled that entire fight,
He did. He did.
right? Even after he got up in the 12th round, I think that's the and I don't think I know that's when he realized what the formula was to beat the guy. If there was three more rounds, if this was an old school 15 round
15
fight,
rounder. Yeah.
he would have won. He
Oh
would have
yeah.
knocked him down by that point. Because then it's almost like the epiphany hit when he opened his eyes at 6 is, oh shit, this is what I got to do.
And he sat up like Undertaker too. When
Yeah,
he got
yeah.
up, he rose up like Undertaker does out of that casket from those casket matches.
Yeah, no, 100%. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that was a fun fight. That kind of put everything in
Speaking
motion.
of that, Tyson Fury was saying a couple days ago he still wants to wrestle Brock Lesnar in WWE. So maybe one day see that.
Well, that's possible, man. Let's see what they're
That'd be
gonna
fun.
do. I mean, he's still young. So, I mean, that's the thing. He's still young.
He's only 34. Funny thing is, remember when he got Francis Ngannou in the ring after his last fight, Dillian White? They're going to have that boxing fight with MMA gloves. Maybe one day we'll see that.
Oh, we'll probably see it. I mean, if there's one guy that I will say I respect a lot is Tyson Fury because whatever he says, he does.
Exactly. You can imagine him and Ngannou with MMA gloves in a boxing fight. Oh, that'd be vicious, vicious fight.
I could see him getting in the ring with Darren Till and Paddy and stuff like that to train up. Definitely,
Mm-hmm.
definitely something there. Um, Year of upsets, eh?
It has been so far. Hopefully, it doesn't happen this Saturday, but you never know, man. Sword hits hard.
No, I'm just saying. I just looking at like at all levels of combat sport. primarily MMA, for example, right now, you think about it. Usman wasn't supposed to lose,
No, but
right?
he did.
But he did. Adesanya wasn't supposed to lose.
He did.
Most
Yeah,
recently, Kayla Harrison, who's considered to be one of the top dominant fighters in the women divisions,
he
wasn't supposed
lost.
to lose. She lost. I mean, on the boxing side, were there any major upsets
Not this
you
year.
can
Not
think
really.
of?
Nothing
No.
big.
I mean, I guess the last major upset I would have to say that probably happened. And I don't, you know what? I'm gonna say the Ruiz one was the last major upset
But
in boxing.
Camboso was against Teofimo at the time.
You see, I won't call that an upset only for the fact that just the way that fight played out.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost a given that there
Well, I
was a
mean, according
chance.
to the Vegas sharps, he's like a 12 to 1
Yeah,
underdog or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
But yeah,
No, no, no. I get that. I get what you're saying. Like when I look at Ruiz, that odds, everything aside, Ruiz should not have won that fight.
no, that was major shock.
Right. So from that perspective, that's what I mean. It's just like that fight should have never, even happened that way,
Yeah.
sort of a deal. Um,
Well, something will happen. We've got a lot of good fights coming up now in January. So some upset will happen. I don't know which
January
one, but
looks good.
something.
February looks good. I don't know what's happening in March. I know April we got the Javante and Ryan Garcia fight. Depending on how they,
That's gonna be good.
what if they both lose? Do they still fight?
Well, they will, but it'll lose the mustard, the stigma of the excitement of it.
Right. All right, brother. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Let's wrap this up. Let's get going with the evenings and all the good things that we have coming our way. Everybody, please be safe. The roads are icy. I don't know wherever you are, anyways. If you're in a
Yeah,
tropical part of the world, stay safe. Don't get sunburned. If you're living out here in Canada or the north, um, just stay safe and stay warm, man. That's all I got to say to everybody, man. And
good advice.
enjoy the fights. Enjoy the fights. We got two
Two
cracker
big
fights,
fights on Saturday.
two
Yeah,
big fights on Saturday. And I know this is the boxing show, but hey, if you got nothing to do Saturday night, All-Star Wrestling at the Maritime Labor Center is taking place. Hopefully the weather cooperates and people can get out. The Bollywood boys, Thunder from Jalandhar, Scotty Mack, just to name a few
yeah,
of the top stars that are going to be on this card. So yeah, come and check it out. We will do our best to be there, providing the weather cooperates. That's the main thing. I think we're due. I'm hearing we're going to get another dumping here in the next day or so. So let's
yeah.
see
That's
if
what they
that
say.
happens or not. But yeah, on that note, brother, I am Bobby Sampson. This is Chance Michaels.
And in the words of the great ACDC, those that download, like, subscribe, share the podcast, salute ya.
Do salute you. And in the words of Ed Whalen, in the meantime and in between time, that's it for Samp&Chance. We are out. We will talk to you guys on Tuesday, most likely. All right, everybody, be safe. Talk to you soon.